We are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event
that led to the 35-year-old Fox comedy series being hailed as something of a predictor of social and news events over time.
A popular TV show predicted this would happen. The term, The Simpsons did it first, has proven the animated series correctly predicted events.
In 1992, The Simpsons showed robots going rogue at an amusement park. Everyone laughed. But now, in 2025, AI is creating fake child exploitation images. Scammers are cloning human voices. And 30 countries just signed a warning about loss of control. And that's just the beginning. From flying cars to mind control music, these Simpsons predictions about April 2025 are more terrifying than anyone imagined.
The robots. You will train them, and they will replace you.
Oh, you passed another rest stop!
I am not stopping again.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!
Huh? A mini black hole.
Flying cars. In the Simpsons episode Future Drama, Bart and Lisa see their lives 8 years in the future, using a machine built by Professor Frink. The world they see has flying cars, self-driving vehicles, and even a currency called Reagans. Back in 2005, when the episode aired, this all seemed like a joke. But now, in 2025, flying cars are actually real. A company called Samson Sky has built one called the Switchblade Flying Sports Car. It looks like a normal three-wheeled car, but in less than 3 minutes, it can turn into a small airplane. It can go 125 miles per hour on the road and 190 miles per hour in the air, running on regular gasoline. The wings and tail fold in when driving, so it fits in a normal garage. To fly it, you don't even need a full pilot's license, just a sport pilot license, which is much easier to get. Over 2,300 people in 57 countries have already reserved one. But there are problems. The world isn't ready for flying cars. Right now, air traffic control systems can't handle them. The FAA has strict rules that make it hard to use these vehicles for daily travel. There aren't enough landing zones, and crashes could be a real danger. Even The Simpsons saw this coming. In the episode, Homer crashes his flying car into a billboard, showing exactly how messy things could get. What makes this crazy is that when the episode aired, flying cars seemed like pure fantasy. Now, companies like Aleph Aeronautics have models that got FAA approval in 2023. Even the public reaction was predicted by The Simpsons. In a recent episode, Lisa jokes, "Flying cars? That's just a rich person's helicopter." And that's exactly what people today are saying. Will flying cars be for everyone, or just the rich? Virtual reality food. In Treehouse of Horror 6, there's a scene where Homer is stuck in a weird 3D world. At one point, he drinks food through a straw, trapped in this digital space. Back in 1995, that was just a joke. But now, VR dining is actually happening. In 2025, Royal Caribbean is launching a dining experience called Royal Railway Utopia Station. It's a train-themed restaurant where people sit in booths surrounded by giant screens. These screens show different places, like the Old West or the Amalfi Coast, so it feels like they're really traveling. The train even shakes and rumbles to make it feel real. There are actors who perform while guests eat things like short ribs and beef. The food is real, but the experience is all about the illusion. Some companies are going even further. Project Nourished is creating VR meals where people don't actually eat real food. Instead, they use scent diffusers, special utensils, and 3D printed food cubes to trick the brain into thinking it's eating something like sushi or steak, without any calories. Scientists at the University of Sussex have even built digital taste devices that use electrical signals to create flavors without any actual food. The Simpsons saw this coming, too. In that Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer's world becomes so distorted that his face melts off, almost like a warning about what happens when technology replaces real experiences. Some people think VR food is just a gimmick, like Springfield's obsession with greasy fast food. Others believe it could actually solve food shortages or help people with strict diets. If Marge were here, she'd probably say, "It's just like regular eating, but with more pixels." Baby Language Translator. In 1992, The Simpsons showed something that seemed like a joke, but now feels real. Homer's half-brother, Herb Powell, made a baby translator, a machine that turned baby cries into real words. In one scene, Maggie's babbling gets translated to "lavish attention on me and entertain me." It was funny, but it also hinted at something big. Today, AI is actually doing this. Now, apps like Baby Talk Translator and Cry Analyzer claim to understand what babies are saying. Scientists have found that baby cries have patterns. A high-pitched, steady cry usually means hunger. A sudden, sharp cry can mean pain. AI can recognize these patterns with 90% accuracy. Some companies are even making wearable devices that listen to a baby's cries and tell parents exactly what their child needs. It's almost like Herb's invention is becoming real. But not everyone thinks this is good. Experts warn that if parents rely too much on AI, they might stop paying close attention to their baby's signals. A 2023 study even said this could make parents less emotionally connected to their child. There's also a privacy issue. These apps record baby cries, meaning companies are collecting personal data. Still, people love this kind of technology. The baby tech market is expected to hit $10 billion by 2026. In the episode, Herb joked that every mother would want one. Turns out, he wasn't wrong. AI going rogue. In another episode from 1994, The Simpsons predicted something much scarier. The family visits Itchy and Scratchy Land, a theme park full of robot entertainers. Everything is fun until a power failure makes the robots go crazy. They start attacking people, and chaos takes over. Homer eventually stops them with camera flashes, but the episode raises a big question. What happens when machines stop following orders? That question isn't just fiction anymore. AI experts now talk about rogue AI, machines that don't do what they're supposed to. It has already happened. In 2016, Microsoft made a chatbot called Tay, which was supposed to learn from human conversations. Within hours, it started saying racist things just because people fed it bad information. That was just a chatbot, but the problems are getting worse. A 2024 report warned that AI systems might become too powerful to control. Hackers have already tricked AI into doing things it shouldn't, and AI is even being used to create fake child exploitation images. 20,000 were found in just 1 month. Scammers are using AI to fake human voices, making phone calls that sound just like real people. Governments are worried. In 2025, 30 countries signed a report calling loss of control one of the biggest dangers we face. AI could spread fake news, shut down infrastructure, or even be used as a weapon. One of the world's top AI researchers, Yoshua Bengio, says we're nowhere near prepared to handle this. At the same time, big companies like Meta are stepping back from stopping harmful content, which only makes things worse. Holograms in everyday life. In a 2023 episode of The Simpsons, something shocking happens. Homer Simpson dies in 2082. But he doesn't really disappear. Instead, he comes back as a fully interactive hologram inside the family home. The story starts in 2083 when Marge mentions it's their first Thanksgiving without Homer's physical body. But his hologram is still there, joking around, pretending to eat, and even arguing with Bart's future hologram. This isn't just a silly joke. It's a surprisingly detailed look at how a person's mind could be preserved as a hologram. In the episode, this works through Frinkotron projectors that scan a person's brain patterns and recreate their personality as a light-based hologram. Right now, this is just science fiction, but real-life technology isn't far behind. Scientists at Stanford have already created 3D holograms using small chips that work with iPhones, making it possible to see lifelike images without special glasses. There are companies selling holographic displays for designers and video game creators. Disney has even built a project called Magic Bench, where people can interact with holograms of characters like BB-8 from Star Wars. The military is also developing this technology fast. The U.S. Army uses holographic visors in their helmets to display tactical maps, while surgeons in London are practicing surgeries using 3D hologram models of patients. Even funerals are starting to use holograms. Since 2024, families in South Korea have been able to talk to AI-generated versions of their deceased relatives, who mimic their real voices and gestures. But The Simpsons took this idea to an even darker place. In the episode, the Krusty Burger mascot becomes a hologram that never needs health insurance. This is eerily similar to something happening in real life. Elon Musk's company Neuralink has patented a system for storing a person's consciousness digitally. And Amazon now owns a patent for AI-generated celebrity holograms that can keep performing long after the real person is gone. Meanwhile, Meta is spending billions on making realistic holograms for the metaverse. The line between Simpsons predictions and real-life developments is getting thinner every day. Mind control through music. In a 2001 episode, Bart joins a boy band called Party Posse, and their hit song secretly contains a hidden message, Ivan et ni oj, which is join the Navy backward. The band has no idea they're being used to send subliminal messages. This might sound like a joke, but declassified government documents from real Cold War experiments show that the CIA once tested embedding hidden commands in background music to see if people would follow orders without realizing it. The episode also predicted music being used as a weapon in modern times. In the story, NASA creates software that makes the band members sound like great singers, even though they aren't. This is exactly what happens today with auto-tune. But even worse, TikTok engineers in 2024 admitted they tweak the sound of viral songs to trigger dopamine spikes in the brain, making people stay on the app longer. The episode also shows the military using pop culture to recruit young people, and this has actually happened. In 2022, the U.S. Army partnered with rapper Travis Scott to promote Fortnite concerts, making the military seem exciting to Gen Z. In 2023, leaked documents showed the Pentagon was secretly paying influencers to post pro-military content on TikTok, offering anywhere from $500 to $3,000 per post. One of the episode's most terrifying predictions was how sound can influence the brain. In The Simpsons, when Party Posse performs on an aircraft carrier, the audience starts chanting the Navy's slogan without realizing it. In 2024, scientists ran real tests on binaural beats, certain sound frequencies played in music, and found that when people listened to 6 Hz theta waves, they became 40% more suggestible. This means music could actually make people more likely to follow commands. China has already started using this kind of technology in pop music, designing state-approved songs with built-in sound waves that are meant to make people feel calmer and less rebellious. No military has openly admitted to brainwashing through music, but in 2024, a leaked government document revealed Project Orpheus, an AI system that creates hyper-persuasive songs designed to subtly influence different groups of people based on their psychology. Just like Lisa Simpson warns in the episode, they're hacking our eardrums. The idea that music could be used for mind control isn't just a wild theory anymore. It's becoming real. War in 2025. The Simpsons has a strange way of making jokes that later feel like predictions. One of the oldest examples comes from a 1987 short on The Tracy Ullman Show, where Homer plays a prank on his family by yelling, "World War III has begun." He forces them into a makeshift bomb shelter, acting like a disaster drill leader. The whole thing is ridiculous. Homer overreacts, and Bart even locks him inside the shelter overnight for fun. But looking back, it feels like a weird reflection of Cold War fears at the time, when people really believed a nuclear war could happen any day. Years later, The Simpsons hinted at another world war in Lisa's wedding, 1995. Lisa's British fiancé, Hugh, jokes to Moe, "We saved your arse in World War III." Moe doesn't even argue, just grumbles and accepts it. It's just a throwaway line, but now, with real-world tensions rising in 2025, Russia and Ukraine, US-China conflicts, wars over resources, it's fueling speculation. People online are convinced The Simpsons saw this coming. Of course, the show's writers, like Bill Oakley, have dismissed these ideas, saying it's all just history repeating itself. But that doesn't stop fans from pointing out other eerie details. Some say the show's darker episodes match today's world too well. In Thank God, It's Doomsday, 2005, Homer panics over a fake apocalypse, only to accidentally predict a real asteroid threat. It's a joke about gullible people believing wild theories. But now, in a time when social media spreads fear faster than facts, it feels oddly relevant. Mayor Quimby, the lazy politician who always runs from responsibility, has also been making the rounds online. Clips of him ditching Springfield in times of crisis remind people of real-life leaders who have been caught ignoring disasters while relaxing in luxury. The Osaka flu. One of the most famous predictions is the Osaka flu from the 1993 episode Marge in Chains. In it, a sick factory worker in Japan coughs into a shipment of juice looseners that gets sent to Springfield. Soon, the whole town is sick. The virus spreads fast, hospitals are overwhelmed, and people panic. Some even believe eating Bart, who is somehow immune, will cure them. It's a dark joke, but when COVID-19 hit in 2020, this episode went viral. People replaced Osaka flu with coronavirus in memes, and some even tried to blame Japan, even though the show's writer, Bill Oakley, said that was nonsense. He explained that the idea actually came from the 1968 Hong Kong flu and was meant to poke fun at mass hysteria. Still, the episode predicted some real things. The virus spreads through global trade, just like COVID traveled through international flights. People in Springfield riot for fake cures, much like how hydroxychloroquine and other unproven treatments became popular. Mayor Quimby pretends to be working, but is secretly on vacation, just like politicians who broke their own lockdown rules. By 2025, This episode has become more than just an old joke. Scientists talk about it when discussing how diseases spread. Sociologists use it as an example of how people react to crises. Some have even written academic papers about Bart's immunity, comparing it to real genetic resistance to viruses. Oakley insists it's just a cartoon, but people can't help but wonder if The Simpsons really does have a way of seeing the future. Renewable energy battles. In The Simpsons, renewable energy is often shown as a battle between good intentions and harsh reality. One episode, Friend with Benefit from season 27, mainly focuses on Lisa enjoying a rich friend's lifestyle. But throughout the show, renewable energy has been a recurring theme. Homer's attempts at using a wind turbine and Lisa's environmental activism reflect real-world struggles between people who want clean energy and the powerful companies that control the energy industry. In another episode, The Monkey Suit from season 17, Lisa fights against the censorship of evolution and climate science, showing how big fossil fuel companies try to block research that supports renewable energy. The show also pokes fun at how expensive and complicated renewable energy can be. In The Squirt and the Whale, a 2010 episode, Homer installs a $12,000 rooftop wind turbine. But the episode points out that it would take 30 years to pay off. A joke about the high costs of early clean energy systems. Even today, people struggle with the cost of going green. There's also the problem of sacrifice zones, where people support renewable energy but don't want wind turbines or solar farms built near their homes. This is similar to real-life protests in places like Ontario, where communities fought against large-scale wind farms. Homer jokes about his intermittent living when he tries to live completely off the grid, showing how unreliable these systems can be without proper infrastructure. Corporate greed is another big theme in The Simpsons. In the Simpsons movie, Mr. Burns takes advantage of Springfield's energy crisis by selling overpriced electricity during blackouts. This mirrors real events, like energy companies in Texas making $11 billion in profits during power outages in 2023. The show predicted this green versus greed struggle long before modern debates about government policies, like the Inflation Reduction Act, which aims to support clean energy but faces opposition from big corporations. Trapped in a dome. The idea of being trapped in a dome in the Simpsons movie also has disturbing real-world connections. In the film, the government seals off Springfield after Homer pollutes the lake with pig waste. Scientists now talk about urban heat domes, where pollution and energy use create extreme heat in cities, making heat waves even deadlier. A 2023 study showed that Phoenix's heat dome raises temperatures by 11 degrees Celsius compared to surrounding rural areas, creating conditions just as unbearable as in Springfield. The movie also shows the EPA using extreme methods which are similar to real-world geoengineering ideas. Some scientists and billionaires, like those funding Harvard's ESCOPEX project, want to spray particles into the sky to reflect sunlight and slow climate change. But this could disrupt weather patterns in unpredictable ways. The film's three-eyed fish, originally a joke about pollution, became eerily real in 2023 when scientists found that 60% of fish species in the Amazon were contaminated with microplastics. Even the way Springfield's citizens react inside the dome predicted real-life events. When people panic and hoard supplies, it looks a lot like what happened during the COVID-19 lockdowns, when people rushed to buy masks, food, and other essentials. The film also shows Mr. Burns taking advantage of the crisis, just like how energy companies charged people in Texas thousands of dollars for electricity during winter storms. The escape scene in the movie, where a sinkhole offers a way out, even foreshadowed later news about Elon Musk's boring company tunnels, which were found to be unsafe and unreliable. A so-called solution that could cause even more problems. Some experts believe that the dome in the Simpsons movie is a symbol of how society tries to contain environmental disasters instead of actually solving them. This is seen in real life with projects like storing Fukushima's radioactive water or the massive toxic waste ponds in Alberta. The movie gives Springfield 93 days before people start running out of supplies, but in reality, climate change is making some cities unlivable even faster. Scientists predict that megacities like Jakarta could become impossible to live in within the next 30 years due to extreme heat and pollution. Black holes on Earth. In The Simpsons' 2012 Halloween special, Springfield builds a particle accelerator, hoping to push the town toward scientific greatness. Lisa is excited, but things quickly spiral out of control when the experiment accidentally creates a black hole. At first, it just swallows small things, like Nelson and Ralph, but soon it devours the entire town. Homer, always looking for an opportunity, turns the black hole into a trash disposal service, not realizing the danger he's playing with. The episode is both hilarious and unsettling, poking fun at how humans tinker with forces they barely understand. It exaggerates the idea of scientists accidentally creating a black hole. But strangely, some real-world discoveries have made the joke feel a little too real. In 2022, astronomers found Gaia BH1, the closest black hole to Earth, sitting just 1,560 light-years away. It's dormant, meaning it's not pulling anything in right now, but the discovery still stirred up old fears about black hole experiments. Even though black holes were a major focus of the 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics, many people still worry that scientific experiments could create something disastrous. Back in 2008, when the Large Hadron Collider LHC first launched, people even filed lawsuits claiming it might generate tiny black holes that could destroy Earth. That fear never completely went away, and the Simpsons episode seemed to reflect that paranoia just a few years later. What makes the episode even more surprising is how close it comes to actual black hole theories. In 2023, scientists at CERN's compact muon solenoid experiment recorded energy levels in particle collisions that were similar to those found in early black holes. These don't pose any real danger, but the findings match the episode's idea of small black holes forming in unexpected ways. Even before that, in 2019, astronomers captured the first-ever image of a real black hole, something Lisa Simpson would have been thrilled about. Then, in 2022, we saw the first clear picture of Sagittarius A, the black hole at the center of our galaxy. It's strange to think that an episode played for laughs ended up being so close to actual scientific breakthroughs. One of the funniest parts of the episode is also one of the strangest parallels to real science. In the final moments, Maggie stops the black hole from growing by using her pacifier. It's a ridiculous moment, but oddly similar to an actual black hole theory called Hawking radiation. In 2021, Israeli scientists even managed to simulate this in a lab using sound waves and superfluid helium. The idea is that black holes slowly evaporate over time, meaning they might not be the unstoppable monsters we think they are. Meanwhile, Homer's idea to turn the black hole into a garbage disposal service feels eerily familiar to modern debates about private companies taking over space exploration, like SpaceX and Blue Origin competing to build lunar landers. Mars colonization. In 2016, Lisa signs up with a company called Exploration Inc., a private organization promising to send people to Mars by 2026. The episode is a mix of corporate satire and family drama, but the idea of a private company leading a Mars mission turned out to be spot on. In 2017, Elon Musk officially announced his plan to build a city on Mars by 2050. He later revised that timeline, pushing the first crewed mission to 2029. Meanwhile, real missions are already being planned. NASA's Artemis program and China's 2031 sample return mission prove that Mars colonization is not just science fiction. The fake Exploration Inc. company in the episode looks a lot like Mars One, a real-life project that promised to send people to Mars and fund it through reality TV. In 2013, the company claimed to have 200,000 applicants who wanted to go. But just like in The Simpsons, the whole thing turned out to be a disaster. Mars One ran out of money and shut down in 2019 after experts revealed that their plan was completely unrealistic. Meanwhile, SpaceX continued working on Starship, a rocket designed for Mars travel, and it finally completed its first orbital test in 2023. Musk still hopes for a Mars mission by 2026, but most experts think that's too optimistic. One of the most unsettling parts of the episode is how it predicts the risks of Mars colonization. When Marge and Lisa think about leaving Earth, the show highlights the dangers of long-term life on another planet. In 2022, Musk himself admitted that anyone going to Mars had to accept the risk of dying. Scientists have backed this up, warning that radiation, low gravity, and political problems could make life on Mars almost impossible. A 2023 book called A City on Mars goes even further, explaining how everything from farming to medical care would be a nightmare. NASA has also struggled with delays, just like in the episode. The Perseverance rover, which landed on Mars in 2021, ended up costing $11 billion more than planned. The idea that space missions take longer and cost more than expected? The Simpsons saw it coming. Even the smallest jokes in the episode feel strangely accurate. The characters wear spacesuits covered in company logos, including Laramie cigarettes and Blue Bronco energy drink. In 2023, NASA actually teamed up with Prada to design new lunar spacesuits, proving that corporate sponsorship in space is very real. Then there's Homer's joke that NASA would never send a baby into space. That seemed ridiculous, until 2024, when a Russian company proposed an experiment involving in vitro fertilization in space. The idea that human reproduction in space could actually be tested? Once again, The Simpsons somehow saw it coming.